Do 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 do. Can you hear me? Probably not, because this is the preamble to the live stream. So good morning, replay crew. It is the 7th of August 24. I am Bear from the internet. We're going to talk about war, Google dying, and Kamala Harris's VP pick today. So we should be live on YouTube momentarily. Good morning. 5x5. Anybody? Can I get a 5x5? Thank you. 5x5. Fabulous. It is the 7th of August, 2024. I am Bear from the internet. We're going to do a brief today. We're going to look at a long list of war indicators, specifically coming out of the Middle East this morning, which I don't know, probably a 4-year-old at this point could figure out that things are not looking terribly copacetic in the Middle East, but we're going to go through some of the details as to who, what, when, where, why this morning in the Middle East. We're also going to talk about an antitrust lawsuit from the federal government against Google, which is interesting because we're on YouTube, which is owned by Google. Thank you to everybody pounding the little heart thing in the live chat this morning. That's fabulous. Appreciate you. We're also going to look at Kamala Harris's VP pick, as if she picked the VP, as if she has done anything. Oh, I'm going to resist the urge to say the thing that I want to say next because we're on YouTube and we're live, and children and grandmas watch this show. But yeah, just insinuate unhealthy sexual relationships between Kamala and the Democratic Party here. Cool. Also, very quickly, big shout out to Chad Prather, whose show I was on recently. Video dropped yesterday at his channel. And so if you haven't had hyena cackle, says Miss Lovely Dudley. Good morning, sister. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch that yet, go to Chad's channel and watch that interview. I thought it was excellent, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the time that I get to spend with that brother. So I would encourage you guys to go watch it. The Copper Goat, I was just watching it. Awesome. Aaron Ruggles, I enjoyed the interview. Fabulous. Thank you. Ranger Training, get prepared now. Hey, listen, Ranger Training, I appreciate the $10, but I'm not going to shout out your training company on the live stream because I don't know you. And for all I know, you're terrible at this. You're probably good at it, but I have no idea. So if you want me to endorse you, there's a way for that to happen. You could email us. But I'm not going to talk about your training company live because I don't know you. Okay. Do appreciate the $10 though. But 3 to 5 times per day, I'm contacted by people who want me to endorse their shit, and typically the answer is no, because I don't know these people. Like, subscribe, share, do all the YouTube things, blah 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 blah. Please engage in the blah blahs because the YouTube algorithm doesn't like us, and that's the way that it is. And let's see, brought to you by the creator of the universe, Yahuwah your Elohim. The fine people at Patreon, link is in the description. Of course, Refuge Medical, which I do endorse because it's my company and I'm very familiar with the people inside of it and the products and the core values and our mission statement, which is to save lives while in service to the Father's kingdom and experience the abundance of his provision and blessing. So, speaking of save lives, we're up to 130 lives saved. You have been blah blah. Thank you, JAP. I appreciate you. Now, we're going to look at all this crap today. War indicators, Google dying, Harris VP, and I want to look at this through the lens of how is this going to affect us? Okay, why do I care? The Middle East is on fire. Cool, it's been that way for 3,500 years. What's the big whoop? We're very globalized currently. Remember COVID-19, anybody, the effects that had around the world. And also your taxpayer dollars are funding what's happening over there in the Middle East. And also per the National Defense Authorization Act, your sons and your daughters could end up spilling their blood over there. And so that's the 3 reasons why I care. But we're going to go through this. Sound good? Okay, Bear. Awesome. The encouraging community. Good morning. Bless you. Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, known to be supported by Iran and Syria, has now said that it has launched the drone attack which targeted northern Israel and killed or wounded 2 soldiers. This was explicitly in response to the recent attacks and assassinations that Israel carried out against Hezbollah. The drone attack occurred on Monday, which is also the day that a base in western Iraq housing some U.S. troops was targeted in a missile strike. That missile strike came from the Iran-backed militias in Iraq. Now, this incident isn't in isolation. In fact, in the last few weeks, attacks on bases with U.S. forces in both Iraq and Syria have begun again after a lull in the fighting. So, specific targeting of U.S. soldiers here. Why does that matter? Well, number one, those are our boys and girls. Please stop trying to blow them up. Number two, if we had an administration that had a spine and a brain, that entire region would be a glass desert already. Number three, is this something or that they're letting it happen, allowing it to happen, making it happen, that becomes the casus belli, the reason that we go to war again in the Middle East? I don't know. I do not think that the American populace has the appetite for another war, let alone another war in the Middle East. I don't know a single person who thinks that war anywhere, whether it's in Ukraine or in Israel / the Middle East, because see, Israel has borders like most countries. And those borders, what do we got there? We got Syria, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, right? Egypt, and then the entire region over there, Yemen, Yemen, not a bunch of pro-America, pro-Israel people. And so there's a huge potential for another war to jump off over there, but there's no civilians that I know, and there's not a lot of people in the DOD that I know that are just chomping at the bit for another war in the Middle East. Bubba Milton says, hey, Bear, a brother of mine just got shipped over to Europe for Ukraine conflict buildup. He's a medic. They are on alert. I also, via Rumant, Humant/Rumant, so unconfirmed, single source, but suffice to say, at least some of the extremely high speed, incredibly low drag individuals inside of the Department of Defense are particularly concerned about Iran right now. Iran, pick your pronunciation. Particularly concerned about Iran. Take that with a grain of salt. Like I said, single source, unconfirmed, uncorroborated, but their countenance was such that they are particularly concerned about that portion of the Middle East. Beyond this, though, Iran itself is reportedly about to officially step up to bat with this conflict, which would be a serious escalation. Quote, Iran has informed us that it intends to attack Israel, end quote, Foreign Minister Israel Katz has said. The world, this is a quote, the world should exact a price from Iran for any aggressive action it carries out. Now, also, Lindsey Graham, preemptively, Mr. Warhawk, is trying to pass a bill that basically says, like, any form of aggression from Iran, preemptively, the United States should just wipe them off the map. And a form of aggression against Israel, the United States should wipe them off the map. And I guess in theory, that sounds great, but how? How are we going to do that? Because if we're just, because we already have carrier strike groups in the region, if we're just going to go in there and do what we do, air superiority, cool. I mean, but what if they retaliate? If you just take the chains off the United States military and let those boys and girls do what they do, that whole region would be a smoldering pile of rubble within 72 hours. But, we have to save face. We have to have limited conflict. And if we end the war in 72 hours, how is Raytheon supposed to extract capital from this? No. And Halliburton, because nation building and hearts and minds and all that. Right? And how do we fleece the taxpayers for that? Yeah, so probably long protracted conflict, especially given the state of the economy here in the United States of America. It's not just Katz, Foreign Minister from Israel Katz, that believes that an attack from Iran may be coming. On Sunday, Secretary of State Antony Blinken Hey Blinken said that an attack from Iran could happen within 24 to 48 hours. This followed a call he had with G7 foreign ministers. Monday seemed to contain a flurry of official activity. What else happened on that day? President Biden and his National Security Council held a meeting about the current situation in the Middle East. U.S. CENTCOM Commander General Michael Eric Kurilla met with both Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi in Israel. Biden also met with King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Qatar's Prime Minister Al Thani and Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Fattah. That is the official pronunciation. Dana said the vid with Chad yesterday was amazing. Thank you, sister. I watched the beginning of it, and then the baby did baby stuff, and then I didn't watch the remainder of it because like I said in the chat on that video, on the premiere of that video, I'm just as surprised as y'all are to see what I'm going to say because I don't actually remember the interview. I just remember that the spirit was in the room with us, so that was cool. So on Monday, we got a bunch of highfalutin folks running around the Middle East, basically trying to either limit the war that's coming or plan what the war is going to look like. Remember, we talked Monday about, what's his face? Abe Blinken, basically saying, hey, you know, this war might not shake out the way we want it to, so I'm going to talk to our people in Israel, and I'm going to talk to our people in Iran. Wait, whose people? Our people in Iran, to make sure we can kind of, you know, control the flow of this conflict. Hold on. Don't say the quiet part out loud, bro. Like, if you're going to have a war, don't tell everybody you're going to have a war. And allegedly, that's not a capability that we're supposed to possess. I feel like they might have intentionally or unintentionally shown a little bit of their hand there as far as who it is that's actually pulling the strings over there in the Middle East. On the other side of the curtain that same day, Russia's Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu, a senior ally of President Vladimir Putin, arrived to speak with Iran's top officials about the killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. Moreover, Iran state media reported that President Masoud Pezeshkian was determined to expand relations between Tehran and its strategic partner, Russia. So things are spinning up over there. Why do I care? Well, like, who cares? Oh no, another war in the Middle East. Well, our children might have to fight it. If it gets big enough, we might have to fight it. I'm all the way outside of regs. I'm like old and fat, and my back is broken. But home guard, homie. And then let's say we have a war in the Middle East. Let's say that happens. Oh, surprise, surprise, another one. We have another war in the Middle East. Okay. And then Russia capitalizes on that and goes hot and like real full-blown dynamic in Ukraine, which is what they've been waiting to do, according to at least some of the OSINT reporting. Right, we've talked about this. Russia has burned up their conscripts on the front lines in the last couple of years. Definitely not their SF, their version of SF. Definitely not their real shooters. That's who they're burning up on the front lines, waiting for the opportunity to capitalize in Ukraine. And so war goes hot. The United States gets its hands full in the Middle East, which I think was Russia's plan from jump, because Russia and Iran are tight. Iran is who is funding Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas that are attacking Israel and shutting down shipping from Yemen, the Houthis. Okay, so that all goes hot. That goes dynamic. Now the United States has its hands full there. Proxy war, right, between Russia and the U.S. in the Middle East, as it has been for a hot minute. That frees up Russia to operate in Ukraine, to do what it wants to do, which now puts pressure on NATO and the European states, countries, whatever, in order to continue the defense of Ukraine. And we know that their military spending isn't where it needs to be. They don't have the troop strength that they need to have, blah, 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 blah. And so that makes it easier for Russia to secure victory in Ukraine. Now, Russia also has another friend named China. And so if the U.S. is involved, like directly involved in a strategic hot war in the Middle East, as well as supporting a proxy war in Ukraine, and then China moves in the South China Sea, dude, that's a three-front war right there. Three-front war. The likelihood that we prevail in a three-front war, given the economic conditions we have and the social conditions that we have and political conditions that we have, I'd say is extremely low. So that's going to have economic effect on us. It's going to have availability of goods and services being diminished for us. Taxation through the roof, as if you don't already pay enough in taxes. And then the potential for our children to bleed and die halfway around the world so that Lindsey Graham can extract his capital from Ukraine. United States Department Matthew Miller, or U.S. State Department Matthew Miller said, quote, "We are at a critical moment for the region. It's important that all parties take steps over the coming days to refrain from escalation and calm tensions. Escalation is in no one's interest. It's not in the interest of any one country. It's not in the interest of the region, and it's certainly not in the interest of the millions of civilians who just want to live their lives free from violence and conflict." End quote. True. Coffee. Andrew Vare, plank owner of Meal Team 6. Nice. And the production materials needed for a three-front war. Exactly, the one-toe cutter. Exactly. We are totally outnumbered with China, Russia, India, yet we still do business. Yeah. So we were sold out, especially from a manufacturing standpoint, to China and India and Mexico decades ago. I can tell you, here in the United States of America, owning Refuge Medical with our vertically integrated sew shops and partnered with other sew shops and other manufacturers just to make durable goods. It's incredibly difficult in the United States of America just to produce durable goods here, just to make stuff. The infrastructure doesn't exist, and a lot of the raw commodities and raw materials come from elsewhere, and it's a huge challenge. And frankly, the market is, while in many cases the market pays lip service to buying American made, when people are forced to compare contrast pricing between American made and overseas manufactured, they oftentimes will choose overseas manufactured. I'm going to sneeze, I think. Even they'll choose overseas manufacturing, even though they know it's not of the higher quality, because they don't have the expendable income to spend on American made. So exactly, Maria, I try to only buy US made, but it's hard. It is hard. And then you have certain platforms like Public Square, for example, Public Square that everybody has ranted and raved about. It's an all US made American company platform for commerce, and that's great. I'll tell you what, Refuge Medical has been on Public Square for a year and a half. I think we've sold 3 kits through Public Square because the market has been conditioned that you shouldn't have to pay hundreds of dollars for a first aid kit or $100 for a pair of jeans or whatever. And honestly, I think that the powers that be don't really love the idea of resurgence of American made for a lot of reasons, one of which is it illuminates how weak the US dollar is. The jeans that I'm wearing currently come from origin in Maine, and they're $100 roughly for this pair of jeans. Now they're good jeans, but $100 for a pair of jeans, when you can walk into a Walmart anywhere in the country and buy a pair of jeans off the rack for 15 to 20 bucks. Now, are they the same quality? No, they're not. And you're going to buy probably a half a dozen pairs of those $15 to $20 jeans to get the same service life out of a $100 pair of American made jeans. But cash flow, a lot of people don't have $100 at a time to go buy a pair of $100 jeans. It's just facts. It's just the way that it is. And so when you're trying to buy stuff that's made in America, it requires more upfront investment, which a lot of people don't have because the US dollar sucks. Oh, We're a resale shop for $3. Yeah. Oh, Temu. Nick says Temu is nuts. By the way, Temu is actual spyware. Like that's what the reason all those things are so cheap on Temu is because the product is not the deliverable on Temu. From the platform standpoint, your data is the deliverable. Temu is a data mining operation run by the Chinese Communist Party. These are facts. Nick says, "Damn, I'm deleting the app." So Nick, let me make you feel even better. Deleting the app doesn't matter because the software is already on your phone. You can delete the front-facing app, but it's still there. Your device is now compromised. You need a new device. You need to get rid of the technology, like your iPhone or your Samsung. It's embedded in your phone. You can delete the app, but it's still there. Temu is spyware. That's what it is. So never download Temu, never, nothing, none of that. Temu is shady. No, it's beyond shady. It's a fact. Nope, Charlie Mike, you have to get rid of your device. So yeah, no team. You know what? We don't do that at Refuge Medical. If you do need a real first aid kit, one that's actually going to work. And by the way, 130 lives saved to date. And probably very likely that number is going to go up today because I'm waiting on an after action report from a gentleman who yesterday used 2 SOBs. They were the only David. It was David. David used 2 SOBs. He was the only first aid kit in the region. And he was at this massive car accident. I don't know if that'll focus. Focus, you dumb thing. That used to be a car right there. Yep. If you're looking at the screen, there's one pic. Here's another pic. These people had to be life flighted off the scene. 2 SOBs. Okay. He was the only person there who had first aid kits. Drivers were care flighted away. And he said, I got to tell you this story sometime. You are not going to believe the unprepared air quote professionals in this story. I told him to call the store this morning. But point being, so yeah, I got to get with David later today. Point being, real first aid kits. Now this thing needs to focus on me. There it goes. Just absolutely smashed these cars. And when the professionals showed up, they were unprofessional, inadequately trained, inadequately equipped. Dudley and I responded to a rollover on I-45 last Monday, and there were 2 ambulances, 8 EMTs, and I'm guessing EMTBs, 2 Texas State Troopers, Highway Patrol, and then me and Dudley. And we get there, and they had gotten the family out of the vehicle, which is great. The fact that the family was still alive was literally a miracle because the car cut across multiple lanes of traffic, ended up getting into a fight with a semi, kicked off the road, down a ditch, barrel rolled on its side at least a half a dozen times and smashed into a tree. And man, his wife and 2 little children, the oldest one was maybe 2 years old. And we get there, and so they're assessing the patients. I said, does anybody run vitals on these guys? And the lead EMT goes, vitals? Can you do vitals? Like, you got the stuff to do vitals? And I'm looking, and there's 2 ambulances here. I was like, okay, I'll do vitals. Me, the random bystander who just happened to pull over on the side of the road. And so we have this concept that, like, when the ambulance gets here, we'll be okay. That's not true. That's not true. That's why we sell these. Okay, this is a bare fact. There are many like it, but this one is mine. This is made in America. It's guaranteed forever. See that tag right there? Made in America. Look at the stitching on this. Okay, pop this open. pull the red handle. There's all my stuff. Prioritized per the March algorithm. Now I realize a lot of people are like, yeah, lots of kits have they have straps where you can put stuff. When you buy this kit, it comes pre-packed, unlike a lot of our air quote competitors that just put all the stuff in a box and send it to you. This is designed this way. You can't rearrange it. I don't want you to rearrange it, because the first thing you're going to need per the March algorithm is massive bleeding stuff. That's this right here. Tourniquet, pressure bandage. Need this right now. Okay. Then next most likely is airway respiratory. That's this pocket in the back with my airway, my respiratory, my chest seals, my shears, my burn shield, my big gauze right there, ready to go. And so right here, the top portion, this is statistically 97 to 99% of the problems we're going to have that we have to solve right now. Then down here in the bottom, this is everything else. This is your small gauze, your quick clot for wound packing, your mylar blankets, your rolled gauze, your triangle bandages, your duct tape, your eye shield, et cetera, et cetera. The stuff that's less life-threatening statistically is all down here, where I don't have to get at it immediately. So it's not an accident that this kit is designed the way that it's designed. It looks the way that it looks, that it functions the way that it functions, because 130 people are still alive because of this kit. So societal proof, social proof, statistical data. I don't think that it works. I know that it works. Okay. So I don't even know how we got on. Oh, this guy from the State Department. It's not in the interest of the region, and it's certainly not in the interest of millions of civilians who just want to live their lives free from violence and conflict. Yeah, but I would submit to you, wanting to live your life free from violence and conflict and actually being able to live your life free from violence and conflict are two very different things. And while we do talk about preparedness here a lot, most of your preps are not applicable to your everyday life. You don't need your AR-15 and your plate carrier every day, or very few of you do. Very few of you do. You don't need your long-term food storage every day. You don't need your badass ham radios that you talk to the International Space Station every day. You need a first aid kit every day, because the concept that we're going to live our lives free from violence and conflict doesn't exist in 2024. So if you want one of these or anything else we make in America, guaranteed forever, refugemedical.com. Here are 9 other recent war escalation indicators that have occurred in the recent weeks to keep in mind. 1, Hamas chief Haniyeh killed in Tehran. Hezbollah shook in Beirut. Revenge calls intensify. 2, Hezbollah escalates attacks on Israel. Iran expects deeper strikes not confined to military targets. Repeat, not confined to military targets. Hey, Bear, do you have a CBurn kit? Mike, ish. You can email us if you want, or check out the Iridium group. The Iridium group is the man for CBurn. 3, US, UK, and Australia and France urge citizens to leave Lebanon. Canada warns against Israel travel. 4, India advises nationals in Israel and Lebanon to be vigilant or leave. Oh, by the way, gosh, it's escaping me now. What the hell is the name of that country over there? India-ish. The prime minister literally just flew out with a helicopter, and the general's in charge now. Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. More copies indicated. Bangladesh. Thank you, Nostradamus. Bangladesh, literally on fire. Literally, the citizens overthrew the government. And here's just a little thing for you to consider. The citizens overthrew the government. Joe Biden, you're going to need F-15s and tanks. And okay, the citizens overthrew the government. It sounds to me like they refreshed the Tree of Liberty. Literally, the prime minister had to hop on a helicopter as the palace was burning and fly away, because the citizens had had enough. It looks like John from Prepper Nation is about done like survival and prepping for normal people. He's sounding like he's going down the same I quit path. Hunt outdoors. Well, let's talk about that for a moment. First of all, if you focus too much on preparedness, it will rob you of your joy. Ask me how I know. And so it's like quintessentially, like what's the point in continuing if like everything's terrible? And so that's why our mindset here is that preparedness is insurance, right? And I don't hyper focus on my life insurance or my car insurance or my house insurance. Okay. That's the first thing. It'll rob you of your joy. The next thing is, and it probably doesn't seem like it to you on that side of the camera, but I would submit any one of you can, and I'm not saying this to sound like an asshole, I mean it. Any one of you can start a YouTube channel and then go live one day and have 1,482 of your closest friends on here, monitoring literally every word that comes out of your face. And then do that, 3 to 5 times a week for 7 years. There's a certain pressure that comes with that. And it can, listen, creating content on YouTube is not turning big rocks into little rocks with a sledgehammer, but it is difficult in a different sense, psychological, mental, emotional, spiritual in some cases. We call it behind the scenes here, dancing bear mode. It's like, come on, boy, get up there and dance in front of the camera. Like, do that thing that you do. Go tell the people about the prepper stuff and the intel, and talk about a first aid kit, and make sure that they hear about Grindstone Ministries and Caleb House while you're doing it. Thoughts on being in the military at 23. Dakota, my thoughts are you need to go to Patreon. The link is in the description, and watch the video that came out Monday morning, because I addressed that on Patreon. That's where all the good stuff is, by the way. It's on Patreon. But my point here is the pressure of a content creator in what is a very opinionated and judgmental niche like preparedness is not always conducive to having a healthy mindset. And it doesn't surprise me and then all the back end bullshit with YouTube, channel strikes and demonetization and having your reach throttled and yeah, it's not good. It's not. I'm here because I love y'all, and I have been if I just look at the chat right now, like Palmetto, know him in real life, good guy. Iridium Group, know him in real life, good guy. Brenda Prince, know her in life, good sister right there. PJD, Paula Joe Davis, she's been here forever. Nick, what's up, Nick? JS Genesis Designs, met him last week, right? Salson's been here forever. G-Man, what's up, G-Man? JV's been here a long time. Kermode, know Kermode in real life, good brother right there. And so 12C, I know 12C, good brother right there. And so if I just, JC Fixer, been here forever and a day. Striker Cade, what's up, bro? Like divinely blessed. I know these people. And so like Dana's in the chat somewhere here, living off grid, right? I know these people. And so it helps me to know that there's real people on the other side of the camera. That helps me. Being at live events that we do where I get to meet people and talk to them and shake their hand and hug them and pray with them and hear the way the Father has been working on them and what they've been going through and the trials and tribulations that they've overcome, and be able to provide a kind word or just listen, or on occasion knife hand people and yell at them and tell them to get their shit together. That helps me. It helps me to know it's not just this stupid freaking camera, that there's real people on the other side of the camera. Not everybody has that. Like I will say again, the Bear Nation is the best audience on planet Earth. Not everybody has a Bear Nation. And it took us 7 years to get to the point that we have the Bear Nation that we have now. And there's been a lot of sifting and separating there. Texas Sheep Lady. I know Texas Sheep Lady. She's awesome. Family reunion is why I love the live chat. Exactly. Right? Shop Stuff. Exactly. Shop Stuff is a real person. You're all real people. And that I need that. I need to know that you're real people. And we have sifted out the unreal people and the bots and the shit talkers and the negative people. Every day, like I run a little op every day where I wait for the moles to stick their head up above the ground and then just schwack them every day. And this goes all the way back to the 4 quarters philosophy. I'd rather have 4 people that want to be here than 100 people that don't. And so is Bear, real, 100%. The first time I met Texas Sheep Lady, a couple of the people from my team were like, "Hey, she's awesome, but we need you to go into like grandma mode, okay? Just be careful, no F-bombs and this and that." And I was like, "Hey, all due respect, I'll try, but I'm me, and it's gonna happen." And they were like, "Okay, cool." And then come to find out, Texas Sheep Lady had said, like, no special treatment. Just let Bear be Bear, because I am, and I can't not be. And if you've ever met me in person, you probably figured out by now, yeah, I'm this way all the time. And about the only way I censor myself when the camera is on is I try to swear less. I know a lot of you guys just cringed at that. Like I try and swear even less. But my point is, I'm not surprised that there are people in the content creation space, and especially the preparedness content creation space, in light of everything that's happened. Guys, we've had an insane last 5 years, like insane from a preparedness standpoint. Like you guys keep asking me, like, when does the threat matrix come back? Like it's on fire, bro. What do you? The next threat matrix is going to be me chucking a whiteboard into the dumpster and lighting it on fire, because that's where we're at. And so trying to track all that on the daily and then provide cohesive thought and communication around everything that's happening and then provide it to you in sound bites, there's pressure with that. And so it doesn't surprise me if other people are saying, you know what, this is stupid. I don't want to play this game anymore. Because I have those days where I say to myself, this is stupid. I don't want to play this game anymore. And the only reason I keep coming back and playing this stupid game is because of y'all. Because of y'all. 12C, speaking of real people, my wife was pleasantly surprised that you and Bob were real people and genuinely good people. Bless you, brother, and bless your wife. This is, you get what you get. This is it. I'm not skilled enough to try and pretend to be somebody else day in, day out. So, item number 4, India advises nationals in Israel and Lebanon to be vigilant or leave. Item number 5, Pentagon bolsters Middle East presence to protect U.S. personnel and Israel. 6, Hanaya's death impacts truce and hostage exchange negotiations. 7, Biden hopes Iran will stand down despite revenge threats, says he's very concerned about rising tensions. 8, Israel warns of high price for aggression, prepares for various scenarios. And 9, Pakistan announces intention to supply Iran with arms should the conflict escalate. So it's looking a little spicy over there in the Middle East. I think we already knew that. The point here is to extrapolate out how is that spiciness going to affect us. And so supply chain, taxation, basically the stability of the country and our ability to project force around the globe. And then, God forbid, our sons and daughters being sent halfway around the world to go fight somebody else's war. Yeah. And so, I've been telling you guys Monday, Wednesday, Friday for a couple of years now, it's a great day to be prepared. It is a great day to be prepared because the threat matrix is on fire. Insider intel here. Thanks, Joshua Stewart. Government-funded civilian medical employees being hired for service in Korea. 100%. Insider baseball here. Same thing, but in the Middle East. Yeah. People who are being trained up here in skills that like EMT advanced and paramedic skills here that they don't have the certifications to use here, but won't need the certs in order to be able to use them elsewhere. Yeah, I was just talking to a guy about that the other day. Something's coming. Something's coming. Q Wintress, Bear, you are a cool dude. God bless you and your family. Well, bless you. Let's see. This is an interesting article from Axios. What does it mean? I don't know, but I found it interesting. Bear, you're the oracle. Pokes Bear with stick. Tell me what it means. What does it mean? Do that thing. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. End of the Google era is the headline. A federal judge's historic decision Monday declaring Google a monopoly is the strongest sign yet that the Google age of the internet has run its course. Google isn't going anywhere and will remain a digital Goliath, but its ability to set and control the agenda for the tech industry's future is waning. Fighting an antitrust suit always takes money and time, but even more important, it's distracting for both executives and employees. Losing an antitrust trial brings the likelihood of new constraints on a company's freedom of action and the prospect of court-imposed rules and the addition of lawyers to the product development mix. The Justice Department's landmark 1998 Microsoft antitrust suit distracted and slowed the company from dominating the rapidly growing internet the way it had led the personal computing era. Google was founded the same year. This time around, Google is the industry leader, AI is the new platform, and upstarts like OpenAI are vying to take the initiative. Progress in tech always depends on this cycle of upstarts challenging incumbents and eventually becoming the new dominant force. But for the past decade, this process has felt frozen with no hope of newcomers challenging big tech's five giants: Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta. AI runs on data, and data is what Google has spent the last quarter century accumulating, giving the company enormous persistent power that it is not shy of wielding. This is an important thing to understand about Google. Google isn't a search engine. Google is a data mining company. Just like YouTube is not a content platform. If you know anything, if you've ever made a YouTube video, ever, the YouTube is an advertising platform masquerading as a content platform. That's why every time I get on here and people bitch about the ads, they're like, Bear, there was another ad. You have too many ads. I'm not in charge of the ads. Google is. I don't put the ads on my content. In fact, a lot of my content's demonetized, not supposed to have ads on it at all. They put ads on it because YouTube is an advertising platform. It's not a content platform. The whole one of the reasons that our channel and other channels get schwacked by YouTube, which is owned by Google, is because YouTube doesn't like outlinks. They don't like links from their platform to other platforms like Patreon or websites like refugemedical.com, because they want you to stay on the platform for as long as possible. Because the longer you're on the platform, the more advertisements you're going to consume, the more they can charge for those advertisements. Or you can pay a stipend per month for YouTube Premium and then not have to watch any of the ads. The whole thing is about advertising, and the advertising is based off the back-end collections that Google does, because Google owns YouTube, to serve you up the exact ad that you need to see based upon the time of day and who you are and what your recent purchases have been in order to get you to transact. And then all of that is marketable by Google to people who have e-commerce brands in order to, literally the word they use is target you, to target you for advertising based upon your specific profile. And Google is the one that has that profile. And all of your contacts, correct, Preston T. Marshall, and your entire search history ever, incognito mode included, and everything you've ever done on the internet, Google has that information. So it's not surprising to me. Google's real value is in the information. It's not in the search engine. Gmail is Google, right? Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Earth, Google, everything you've ever done that had anything to do with Google, it's stored in the cloud. They got it. They have a huge profile on you and who you are and what you do. That's where the value comes from. It's the same thing with Meta, Instagram, and Facebook. That's all data mining. That's all data mining. Add into the fact that your cameras are oftentimes activated on your device while you're on those platforms because they want to see what your eyes are doing and dare I say what your hands are doing while you're scrolling their platforms. They have all of that. And that's not like some tinfoil, prepper, conspiracy theory bullshit. It's a fact. They have all of that data. That's where the value is. And they take that right now, they take that data and they turn around and they sell it to companies to target you with advertising. And so think about Google YouTube or Google and Google paid ads. They own the mine and they sell the finished product. So that's called vertical integration, which is why they're a giant. But right now, they sell that information to companies. They also pass that information on occasion to governments for targeting of specific individuals, but don't tell anybody that. What happens when the government decides, Google, you work for us now. Give us all of that data on all of our people. They watch me pick my nose. Me too, Biggie Gunner. Here, we can all watch me pick my nose right now. That was a good one. Wrong chat. Sorry. Pilgrim, what are you saying in the chat, homie? So Google antitrust, blah, 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 blah. Google said it will appeal the ruling and it's fairly common for complex antitrust decisions like this one to be overturned, as much as the judgment against Microsoft was 20 years ago. Meanwhile, in a second phase of the trial, the judge will decide what kind of remedy to impose on Google, which could range from limited rules governing its conduct to a broad effort to break up the company. A second major antitrust suit against Google, covering its massive ad tech business, goes to trial this fall. Bottom line, the lawsuits over tech monopolies more often end in technicalities than in drama, but they can also push the industry to evolve in new ways. So we'll see what happens with the El Googolo here. And then the last article we've got for the day is also from Axios. And you may have noticed here recently, why the Bear, you don't typically look at Axios articles. Why are you looking at Axios articles now? I'm reading a book that was provided to me by Liberty at Refuge Medical called Smart Brevity. And I'm trying to be better at it. And I'm not, but I'm working on it. And Smart Brevity is a book about strategic communications. And it was written by the people who founded Axios. And their articles are much more succinct and to the point. There's a lot less fluff. And so in an effort to try, it doesn't mean that I am, but in an effort to try and be a good steward of your time, I'm trying to find articles that are both relevant to the things that we talk about here, as well as not 1.5 miles long and take 20 minutes to read. So I need to get an unplugged phone from Eric Prince, no tracking. I've thought about getting one of those Nostradamus. I'll let you know if I do. We shall see. We shall see. From Axios, Trump says he's thrilled with Tim Walz as Harris's VP pick. Former President Trump told Fox and Friends Wednesday that he could not be more thrilled that Vice President Kamala Harris chose Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be her running mate. Trump's reaction to Walz joining the Democratic ticket echoes a chorus of other Republicans who have sought to define the Minnesota governor as ultra-liberal. Trump says he never thought that Walz would be Harris's choice for vice president, saying Walz was a very, very liberal man and he's a shocking pick. Trump accused Walz of being weak on border security, hammered him for his support for transgender rights, and claimed he was as liberal as Senator Bernie Sanders. And then this is the quote right here. This is a ticket that would want this country to go communist immediately, if not sooner, said Trump. And that was the thing that kind of jumped out to me. Of course they want this country to go communist. Why? Oh. Here's a book right here. Red Famine, Stalin's War on Ukraine. This came at the recommendation of Andy Frisella on the Real AF podcast. And here's another one. Unhumans, the secret history of communist revolutions and how to crush them. Yeah. By the way, Self-Reliance Festival this fall, October, September. I don't freaking know. Let's look at the calendar together. Speaking of being a good steward of your time, stand by while I look at my calendar. October 4th through 6th? Question mark? Yeah. Self-Reliance Festival, Camden, Tennessee, selfreliancefestival.com. I will be there, and I will be speaking about communist revolutions and, more importantly, how they affect people who live in the country. And you might be saying to yourself, well, I don't live in the country right now. I live in the city or the suburbs. Oh, cool. You're a statistic if there's a communist revolution. But you're going to bug out with your bug out bag to the wilderness, right? Got a 4-part series about that on Patreon. Go find that and watch that, because we actually rank the likelihood that any of that's going to be a good choice. So more people are going to end up in the rural areas because of what's happening in the cities and the suburbs if there's a communist revolution. And so what happens after the cities and the suburbs are subdued to the countryside? That's the particular question that I'm interested in. This is good info for us homesteaders. Exactly, Neil, because what do communists do? They take over the means of production, specifically with food. And that leads to things like the Red Famine. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about at Self-Reliance Festival. Cause. And so Trump is saying that this ticket, quote, this is a ticket that would want this country to go communist immediately, if not sooner, end quote. Now, that could just be a talking point, but the problem with that talking point, if it's just a talking point, is it lines up with everything else that the Democratic National Committee and their minions have been saying and doing for, I don't know, my entire life. Responding to Waltz's claim at a rally Tuesday that Trump doesn't understand kitchen table issues, Trump rebutted that, quote, it's just the opposite. Those people are all voting for me, the people that he is talking about with the kitchen table, end quote. Kitchen table, what do they call it? Kitchen table issues? Yeah, like rent, mortgages, cost of fuel, cost of groceries, cost of insurance, cost of everything. Yeah, I don't think the Democrats understand kitchen table issues. My 4 walls or my Alamo? Crow, you got to do better. You got to do better. My 4 walls. You got to press out from there, homie. If they make it to your 4 walls, you're screwed. You're screwed. Because I'm going to clear your walls with a belt fed. No, we got to do better than, and Crow, this is not me coming at you, but that's a common prepper misconception. It's like, I make my final stand right here. No, I don't. Right here? No, absolutely not. This is just sticks and drywall. No, I'm going to get off of this X and maneuver, fire and maneuver, and let you come to where you think I'm making my final stand. And we're going to overlapping fields of fire and handle the problem. This is not my Alamo. My Alamo is like miles away from here at choke points coming to right here. 100%. As Pastor Joe Fox of Viking Preparedness says, you don't fight a war at your mailbox. No, absolutely not. And everybody hyperfixates, says shoot, move, communicate, sustain, right? Everybody hyperfixates on shoot. Move is the most important one, because it doesn't matter how well you can shoot if you can't move. It doesn't matter how well you can communicate if you can't move. It doesn't matter how well you can sustain if you can't move. Move is the most important one. That's why I've been on a kick for the last year to be less fat and move my body more, because none of the rest of it matters if you can't move. Like, fire and maneuver requires the ability to move. It's as simple as that. If you can't move, you're done for. If you stay right here long enough, every moment you spend right here while somebody has you pinned down, somebody else is maneuvering on you. Move is the most important. These 4 walls are not my Alamo. Screw these 4 walls. Iridium Group, motionless operators ventilate easily. Move. Exactly. You have to be able to move. Shoot, move, communicate, sustain. Shooting, communicating, and sustaining don't matter if you can't move. If you don't move, you die. Movement is life. And so this is not my Alamo. I'm not staying here. Yah forbid somebody makes it into my front yard. I'm not having everything I love is inside of this building. The last thing I want is bullets smashing into this building. 100% no. I'm getting off of this X, homie. I am maneuvering. I'm not staying here. I might bait you in to think that I'm in here, so you come this way. That's great. Channelization. Cool. Yeah, all the way. You should all the way come to my front door. That's going to go great for you. And that goes back into networking, having homies, intel. Hey, they're coming. They're at pinch point alpha or whatever you cool guys call your thing. Okay, cool. Hey, do that other thing, tracking. Don't tell them your plan bear. Oh, William Powers. This is, bro. Trust me, I understand per second OPSEC. I'm not giving you real details. I'm just saying, I'm not fighting here. Why would I fight here? That's stupid. Everybody I love is here. We can go fight over there if we have to have a fight at all. Simple as that. And to be perfectly clear, I would prefer to not have a fight. I would all the way prefer to not have a fight. However, what I prefer and what will be are oftentimes two very different things. So you should have the ability to shoot, but shoot does not trump move. Communicate does not trump move. Sustain does not trump move. Move, uber alles. Okay? That's the show for today. Go to refugemedical.com. Use your promo code BearNation for free shipping on everything. And if you don't use that promo code, you can get free shipping on all orders over $2.99, as well as flat rate shipping on your prepping buckets, like your surgical suite bucket, your wound care bucket, birthing bucket, postpartum bucket. The 11th, which is this coming Sunday, we are doing Surviving Womanhood, which is sold out with the combat midwife at the Refuge HQ. It's going to be an awesome class. Going to talk about birthing babies and women's health in austere environments, aka SHTF. So that's a really cool class right there. And it just kind of illuminates, if you've been thinking like, well, I don't know if I should come to class, refugemedical.com, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I know tourniquets and stuff. It's like, cool. Do you know how to birth a baby in end times? Well, I would never have to do that. Yeah, I would never say never. Are there women in your life? Yeah. So let's tell Dad thanks and we love him. Oh, we're getting there, Striker Cade. Oh, yeah, we're getting there. Let's see. What else? Kiddo kit from Refuge Medical. If you need a kit to slam in your kid's backpack as they're about to go to school, or you need one for your glove box or your purse or for your homeschooling classroom or whatever, kiddo kit from Refuge Medical. Introductory pricing is over, but these are still $59. So go check them out. Purpose built, made in America, specifically for children who have small limbs. Okay. Very good kit. We've got a Slishman pressure wrap, which is your pediatric tourniquet. Halo chest seals, compressed gauze, mini compression bandage, survival blanket, flat duct tape, and nitrile gloves. And this thing's tiny. It's super tiny. You could get 3 or 4 of these inside of a Bearfact pouch. Speaking of Bearfact pouch, I know it's 2024. Everybody's struggling. Me too, homie. We're all struggling together. We're all on. I am the assigned driver of the struggle bus. Okay. Bleeding prevention kits starting at $60 from refugemedical.com. Underneath the listing for bleeding prevention kit, there's a drop down tab. You can add a Bearfact pouch for $39. You have an American made guaranteed forever blowout kit for about $100. Way better than Temu. I just yesterday was at the Refuge store, and one of the things that we do is we buy stuff from our competition just to see our air quote competition. And there's a pouch. Oh my gosh, is there a pouch? Let me see if I can find it. RTS Tactical IFAC. Boom. Where is it? Load, monster trucker. That one right there. That, oh, hold on. Skip this ad on YouTube. Go away, YouTube. That pouch right there. that a lot of different companies are using. You know, the zipper thing, and you pull it and it deploys. That one right there. They usually have a video of this guy deploying it as well. It looks like this on the inside. Oh yeah, it's a good pouch right there, right? Well, here's a couple of problems. Number one, the way that thing deploys, it would all the way open if you were patrolling and a stick got in it, and it would yard sale your shit everywhere, which means A, you no longer have your shit that you're going to need if you get shot, stabbed, blown up. B, you're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for whoever it is that's following you, which is likely somebody's following you. So that's a huge problem. C, it's attached to your damn body, which means you can't get the stuff out of it that you need to get out of it, which is why all of our kits do this. I know, it's amazing. But look, this part's attached to my body. This part comes out so that I can open it up and put it on the ground, because it's called dirt medicine for a reason, because healthy people aren't standing, or healthy people are standing up. Sick people aren't. They fall the F over on the ground. So I need to be able to work on them on the ground. Okay, again, not a coincidence. And then I took that pouch and I shredded it with my bare hands. I turned it into confetti with my bare hands. It was terrible. Like, I think my fingers got cancer from touching the Chinese material. It was terrible. Versus this. This is a Bear Fact pouch. And this is me pulling on it as hard as I freaking can. Nothing. Nothing. Like new. Because you can actually bet your life on this. It's not some Chinese bullshit. And remember, the Chinese don't like us. They want us to die. They are our enemy. And what better way to kill us than to sell us subpar life-saving equipment that doesn't work, which makes people think, oh, check, I have a first aid kit, I'm good to go. And then when you need it, you actually die. Yep, we don't do that because we're Americans and we make our stuff in America. And I highly recommend you get something from us, because look right there, see that tag? Made in America. All right, cool. grindstoneministries.com. If you need a Bible and you ain't got a Bible, you go to grindstoneministries.com and you get one either at our cost, or you tell us where to send one to you, and then we send one to you. And we have a whole thing going on. It's called Project Endure that's starting up, which is fundraising for Grindstone Ministries so that we can maintain our readiness, because we've done such a good job responding to tornadoes and hurricanes that we broke a bunch of our toys. And now we need to get some more toys so we can continue to be the hands and feet of the Most High. And so if that's something you're interested in, you find out more at grindstoneministries.com. Cool. Scott, hello, Bear. Do you still have a Woodland Camo Bear Fact pouch available? So you go to www.refugemedical.com and you click the little chat button. There's a real human being on the other side of that, where you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and then you call the store and then talk to a human, because I honestly don't know if we have any more of those or not. The offer for the Bible is legit. Thank you, Bear. You're welcome, Montana Mike. It is legit. We've given away more than 7,000 copies of the scriptures. So we're not faking it. Bear, at what age should we start training medical with our kiddos? We've trained children as young as 7 or 8 years old. The Weasel, formerly my youngest child, she's 7, and she has her own Slishman. She has her own first aid kit. She knows how to use it. Jason Bradley, Refuge has the best customer service anywhere. Thank you. Me and my wife can attest to the build quality. 12.0 and 3.0 worth every penny, and hey, we're supporting a great bunch of peeps. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate y'all. Montana Mike, mine came with a brief note and a scripture handwritten by Bear himself. Recognize the writing from the whiteboard series. Shh, Montana Mike, don't tell anybody that. Don't tell anybody that. Now everybody's going to be like, but Bear didn't sign my Bible. Why? Probably because we were rescuing kids with calebhouse.org. So, if you're into counter trafficking, not just like Let's raise awareness because raped children are bad. Yeah, we know. You want to do something about it? CalebHouse.org. Caleb with a K. CalebHouse.org. I have to go there today because big news. Care House number 1. Making a lot of progress there. Care House number 1 on site. Going to be getting set in the very near future. And shout out to the construction team because they just got the concrete poured last week in the barn door, and then turn, be sideways. And then I walked in there yesterday and look, they've already started the framing for, look at that. Already started the subframing for the barn door. Like concrete was last week. And look at that. They've already got the first floor framed and they were putting the joists in for the second floor as of yesterday. Amazing. They're killing it. They're absolutely killing it. And so progress is being made all the way around at Caleb House, our restoration facility. And so, yeah, thank you to everybody who supports Caleb House, calebwithak.org. Oh, now we'll do what Striker Cade said we should do. He was correct. Now we will tell Dad thanks. And so let's do that. Good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for allowing us to wake up today. Father, thank you for inexplicably loving us, even though we are short-sighted and vapid and stupid. Thank you that your ways are not our ways. Thank you that you are infinitely more brilliant, a much better tactician than we are. Father, thank you for moving us about the chessboard of life and putting us where you need us to be. I pray that you'd continue to do that you would convict us to move when it's our time to move, and that you would give us the patience to stand still, to be still and know that you are Yah, until you lay your hand on us and move us where you need us to be. Father, I don't know how you do what you do, and I barely understand why you do what you do, but we trust you to do what you do for our good and for your glory. So, Father, I thank you for that. Father, please give us this day our daily bread. Father, there are so many people out there starving, whether that be physically or, Father, spiritually, just starved for you. So, Father, please feed us with your word, and with your word made flesh, and with miraculous provision and protection and blessing. Please give us our lawful bread, but not so much bread that we forget who you are and forget how desperately dependent on you we are. Father, please remember us as we do our best to remember you. Pour out your spirit on all flesh, Father, for wisdom and discernment. Give us the endurance to be your hands and feet. Let no weapon formed against us prosper. And Father, Yah, be there anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, we come together in agreement and rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Father, fill us up. Use us as you see fit. Bless us in the doing of your will. Continue to teach us how to walk in your model. And thank you for the atoning sacrifice of Yeshua, that we might be able to come home again. Father, let us not take for granted all of the miracles that you perform in our life every day. Please keep us focused on you while the world continues to spin out of control. Father, Yah, let us be found worthy at the end of an age. Hear the words, well done, good and faithful servant. That every knee should bow and every tongue should confess.
And let us be in awe of you before we meet you face to face, that we might get to know you for eternity. Father, please make your face to shine upon these people. Give them your peace, your shalom, Father, your provision, your protection, and your blessing. I ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen.
Y'all have a fabulous day. Go forth and be the light. I'll see you when I see you. Shalom.